Shalom. All praises to y'all, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakar Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. It says the latest U.S. sanctions are illegal and unjustifiable. It says Iran. All right. It says the U.S. has no right to sanction Iran's energy and transport sectors over its missile attack on Israel. Foreign Minister spokesman Esmail whatever has said, describing the attack as a legitimate act of self-defense. Okay, and this is once again, the U.S. or the West meddling in the affairs of the nations. All right, now we know, the West, all right, plays big brother to the state of Israel. But even so, these countries, right, these nations, are tired of America meddling in their business. And those Ishmaelites, what you know as Middle Eastern people, they have a deep hatred for the U.S. anyway, man. They tired of it. When the U.S. slapping these sanctions on people. All right, these countries are tired of getting told how to move by the United States. All right, and they become very boisterous about it. Vladimir Putin, has been, saying things like this the whole summer, man. His voice, of course, being, a bit bigger than this guy Ismail, if I'm pronouncing that right. But this guy is just echoing the same sentiments, man, that Vladimir Putin has been, saying all summer, man, about the U.S. and his dealings with the eastern part of the world, and they all tired of it. Habakkuk 2, I'm going to start at 5. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire is hell, and is as death. Because everywhere this guy goes, death follows, man. All right. When he says neither keepeth at home, like when you look at the U.S. military bases around the whole world, because they planted their flag all over the eastern part of the world. It was death there before they, set up that military base. They do a lot of killing, a lot of murder. Neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire is hell, and is as death. Once again, everywhere this guy go, death follows, man. And cannot be satisfied. Because no matter how much Esau takes from you, he wants more. Just like the guy, I did a video a couple months ago, Lindsey Graham. He basically, exposed the fact, and he's a U.S. I want to say senator. Chalaki, if I'm wrong, but I believe he's a U.S. senator, and he basically told the truth about why the United States is over there in Ukraine, which was to not only get natural resources, but to keep those natural resources from Russia and China. He cannot be satisfied, man. Not only does he want, all these things, but he wants to make sure you don't have them. Speaking of China and Russia in this sense, Esau just want to make sure, you don't have the shit, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. It says, shall not all these take a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right. Woe unto him, Salakia. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, man. And that's the MO, as they say, the Edomites, man, the American Edomites. They increase what not his. That was not theirs. They go around the world, you know, you know, rape, rob, murder. That's their thing. You know, and if you you know, want to buck and you don't want to comply, you know, the America of old, because they ain't stepping like they used to, because now these other countries are a threat. But you know, the America of old, if you call yourself not compliant with what they want you to do, they just bomb you to get what they want, man. You know, everything this guy has is what they call ill-gotten gain, man. Esau hasn't, you know, worked for anything or, you know, obtained anything righteously. You know, it's all underhanded. It's all a trick, truce breaking, lying. You know, he always got some shit up his sleeve. And this is how they've continued to increase what is not theirs, man. And as you see Iran speaking, you know, Vladimir Putin been talking, you know, all summer. But he was just taking shots at the U.S. this whole summer. So these nations, this prophecy is coming to pass, man. These nations, they tired of America, man. You know, it says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Booties meaning spoils of war. You know, if you ever seen those old cartoons with the pirates, and you know, they say that a lot. You know. But this is what's gonna happen to America, man. And they're rising up and, you know, speaking at this point, because it was a time where these nations wouldn't talk, you know, so aggressively about America. They were afraid, you know. But now that fear is gone completely. Those nations on the eastern part of the world is not scared of America, especially those, you know, BRICS nations, those that are in line with Russia. You know, Russia playing big brother. Not afraid, man. It says, because, this is verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil, and that's America. You know, Babylon. Woe to him that covet of evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high. You know, Esau bullies everybody and takes everybody's things, or he has in the past, to set his nest on high. You know, to exalt this place. You know, to exalt himself above all the other nations. He just rape, rob, murder. Once again, as the prophecies say, you know, these nations are going to rise up against him. You know, woe. If this is verse 12, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor. So like it. No, that was the point. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Okay, that's the foundation of this place, and it's not just on the land mass of America that this is happening. It's happening all over the world that he's put many people to death and shed a lot of blood in many lands. But these nations, getting back to the point, are no longer afraid of that because they're equipped with the artillery to fight back. You know. But going back to the article, the U.S. has no right to sanction Iran's energy and transport sectors over its missile attack on Israel. Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail has said, describing the attack as a legitimate act of self-defense. The U.S. Treasury Department on Friday announced sanctions against a fleet of vessels it accused of transporting Iranian oil. The State Department simultaneously announced sanctions on 6 foreign companies allegedly involved in the Iranian petroleum trade. The Treasury Department said these penalties were imposed in response to Iran's October 1st attack on Israel, in which Iran fired around 200 ballistic missiles at the Israeli army. But those Israelis, the state of Israel, okay, they putting people to death too, man. So basically what America is saying is, yeah, they putting y'all to death, but so what? They with us. So just basically, I guess, take that on the chin. These nations ain't having that shit, man. America, once again, man, America, you ain't the same bully that you was. Speaking to reporters in Tehran on Sunday, Baegi, I don't know, described the sanctions as illegal and unjustifiable. Iran's missile attack, which came after Israel assassinated Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, and a senior Iranian general in Beirut, was carried out in accordance with international law to exercise the inherent right to legitimate defense, he said, according to Iran's IRNA news agency. So they saying we defending ourselves. They knocking off generals. I guess people who are holding high office in the Iranian military, whatever. And of course, that goes for any. I guess you would call him a diplomat. If you go to a foreign country, that's like if an American diplomat went to a foreign country and got murdered. America gonna bomb the shit out that place. But this is the hypocrisy of Esau. He talking about I think they mentioned 3 people, which came after Israel assassinated Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, Hassan Nasrallah, and an unnamed guy, a senior Iranian general. And so that's 3, high-ranking, people in the military. So of course they're gonna respond with military action, man. But America is so used to having these nations up under their thumb. They say anything, man. Israel is still weighing its response to the missile attack and is widely expected to target Tehran's oil or nuclear infrastructure. The U.S. has cautioned West Jerusalem against either course, and Baghai decried the latest sanctions as an attempt by Washington. I think they meant to put describe the latest sanctions as an attempt by Washington to placate Israel into holding off on striking Iran's energy sector. It says the U.S. move to impose sanctions has no legal or logical basis and amounts to paying a ransom to the rogue Israeli regime, he said. Any strikes on Iran's nuclear sector would carry a serious risk of escalation. while damage to its oil industry will cause global prices to skyrocket, in turn driving up the cost of gasoline at American pumps ahead of next month's presidential election. It says, in a statement on Friday, the Treasury Department claimed that the latest sanctions would hamper Iran's efforts to channel revenues from its energy industry to finance deadly and disruptive activity, including development of its nuclear program, the proliferation of ballistic missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles, and support to regional terrorist proxies. So basically, they just don't want them to get no weapons, to develop any nuclear strength. Although they're being bombed, the U.S. is telling them that they shouldn't defend themselves at all, basically, because Israelis are, little brother to the United States. Says, however, the U.S. believes that Iran's nuclear weapon program has lain dormant for the last 2 decades. Reuters reported on Friday, citing 2 American officials. We assess that the supreme leader has not made a decision to resume the nuclear weapons program that Iran suspended in 2003. A spokesman of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence told the news agency, referring to Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. This view is echoed by CIA Director William Burns, who told a conference last week that while Iran has allegedly enriched uranium to near weapons grade levels, there is no evidence that has ordered the construction of nuclear weapons. Iran has long insisted that its nuclear program, which began in the 50s with U.S. support, is peaceful. That doesn't make sense. You're building missiles to kill people and saying it's peaceful. It says Burns' remarks were portrayed by Reuters as an effort to convince Israel not to attack Iranian nuclear sites. However, Israel decides to respond. Iran will retaliate proportionately and in kind, a source in Tehran told RT on Thursday. So they basically saying if Israel, the state of Israel, Israeli, if they keep shooting missiles, we gonna keep shooting missiles. Don't nobody care about them damn sanctions. And as the article mentioned, they gonna only be so tough with them sanctions because when it comes to that oil, that's gonna affect this place. It says in the event that any civilians are harmed in a potential attack or that civilian areas are targeted, Tehran will be prompted to revise its nuclear doctrine, the individual told RT without elaborating. All right. So more fighting between the state of Israel and Iran. America still meddling, more talk of nuclear capabilities, developing nuclear capabilities, flaunting nuclear capabilities as we see other nations on the eastern part of the world do. All right. The third world coming quickly. But I ain't gonna hold you. I hope that video was edifying. Shalom.